safer I used to feel. Tonight, I'm parked off a forest road in Idaho, miles from the nearest town. It's the kind of place where if you screamed, no one would hear you. That's one of my go-to videos, by the way. A big scream, loud as I can, and then just the silence afterward. Basically, the place was perfect until the knock came. A single soft knock, not on the door, on the window. I froze. It was just after 1 a.m. The woods was silent, no wind, no animal noises. My van is unmarked. I never advertise I'm a woman traveling alone, and I always wait and post my videos a week after I leave the spot, just to make sure no one catches on to where I'm parked. So how did someone find me, let alone creep up without setting off the motion lights? Another knock, light, insistent. There was no way this could be anything good, right? My heart was racing, my stomach already twisted into knots. Muscles pulled tight. I reached for my phone. My stupid fingers fumbled it, and it hit the floor mat. The thumb seemed to thunder loud, and when I sat back up, I nearly screamed. A child's face was pressed against the window. Pale skin, dark hair, wide, staring eyes. But something was wrong. The glass reflected weird, but there was no shine in the kid's pupils, just black, completely black. I choked on my breath. Every instinct in me screamed wrong, wrong, wrong. Why was there a child out here? I was so far away from any of the main roads. It wasn't the kind of place children would be. The kid didn't move, didn't blink. Then, another knock. My head snapped towards the sounds and my stomach dropped. There was a second one. A little girl this time, standing by my back doors. Same dark hair, same vacant black stare. I don't scare easy. I've slept in parking lots where guys tried breaking into my van. I've camped in places where the only sounds were coyotes circling. I'm not an adrenaline junkie, but I'm also not just starting out. But this was something else. I kept my hand low, fumbling for my knife while trying to keep my breathing steady. That sounds bad. These were just kids, right? But you don't understand. There was something wrong with them. The boy at the window finally spoke. Let us in. 3 words. No emotion. No inflection. Just a flat, empty demand. I shook my head. It made all my hair stand on end. He spoke again, more persistent this time. Let us in. The girl knocked again, harder. I heard her rattle the doors. It was a childish response, but I grabbed my blanket and pulled it up over my shoulders, cowering beneath the heavy cotton like it was a shield. I clutched my knife so tightly it made my knuckles ache. I don't know how long I sat there, too afraid to breathe. I knew that if I opened the door, I wouldn't be able to close it again. Suddenly, they stepped back. The dark of night engulfed the windows again. service. Then the tapping started again. Every window, every door, a slow, measured rhythm. Knock, knock, knock. I must have blacked out at some point because the next thing I knew, the van was filled with light. Sunlight. I woke up still clutching my knife. My doors were locked. My keys were still in the ignition. My phone was in my lap. Battery at 23%. I risked a glance outside, but there was no sign of the kids. I opened the driver's side door, hard hammering. The air smelled like damp earth, pine. A beautiful, misty morning. My tires were untouched. There were no footprints in the loamy soil. It was like they'd never been there at all. But they were. I know they were. And I know they're still out there too, because my van still won't start. And I'm worried that tonight the knock will come again. Not much action happening there, but great story. Next one. I paid $49.95 for revenge. Now I can't make it stop. It started with an ad. A stupid, bizarre ad that popped up as I was mindlessly scrolling one night. Get revenge on anyone for just $49.95 plus taxes. Results guaranteed. The image above it was weird. A grainy, low-resolution photo of a cake, lopsided and half-frosted, sitting in the middle of a dimly lit room. There were no candles, no decorations, just a single, tiny knife stuck in the center, like someone had tried to cut a slice but given up halfway. Below it, in bold red letters, start your 7-day plan today. I laughed, then I clicked. I skimmed the fine print, something about escalating consequences and a series of pranks over 7 days to the nominated victim. Finality of contract. One line caught my eye. Recipient must be personally known to the sender. This includes in-person acquaintances, direct online communication, or individuals whose written words the sender has read. Weird wording, but I barely paid attention. When I reached the section where I had to type in a name, I hesitated. It felt childish, but Megan was the obvious choice. Best friend since high school. More like best tormentor. She had spent years making sure I always felt less than. Every insult disguised as a joke. Every eye roll when I spoke. Every time she forgot to invite me somewhere, only to tell me later, oh, I just assumed you wouldn't want to come. Still, something about actually typing her name felt final, as if I somehow knew that once I did this, I couldn't go back. I clicked submit. Nothing happened. No confirmation email, no pop-ups, just silence. I rolled my eyes and went to bed, convinced I'd just wasted my money. The next day, Megan fell down a flight of stairs between classes. She broke her wrist and sprained her ankle. I overheard her telling our friend group that she swore someone pushed her, but there was no one there. At first, I laughed it off. Megan was always dramatic. But later, alone in my dorm, a strange unease crept in. I did this, didn't I? No, of course not. It was just a coincidence, right? The day after, Megan's car swerved off the road. She said the brakes wouldn't work. The mechanic found nothing wrong. Thankfully, she wasn't seriously hurt, but she was badly shaken. I couldn't shake the heavy sinking feeling in my gut. This was exactly what the ad promised. By day 3, each time the cycle restarted. Each time I had to watch as someone else unraveled, teeth falling out, fingers bending backwards, rotting smells that clung to them even after they scrubbed their skin raw. Every death felt heavier, every choice felt worse. And then I ran out of names. I stared at the empty box on the website. My hands shook. I knew what would happen if I didn't submit a name. The cycle would revert to me. I tried entering celebrities, strangers, politicians. It rejected them. The recipient must be personally known to the sender. This includes in-person acquaintances, direct online communication, or individuals whose written words the sender has read. My breath caught in my throat. There was no one left, and now it's day 6. I wake up covered in scratches, my reflection whispering things I don't understand. I feel something watching me from the corner of every room. The floorboards creak when no one is there. I know what's waiting for me tomorrow. I have one day left, and I have no one else to choose but you. That was pretty good, except I'm a little bit confused. It says individuals whose written words the sender has read, or direct online communication. Like you haven't directly communicated with me, and you haven't read my written words. Individuals whose written words the sender has read, right? Am I misunderstanding? Shouldn't it be the individuals whose written words the recipient has read, right? Is it not? Anyway, let me know. Okay, last one. I deleted Hinge. You should too. He was beautiful. His profile was clever. Plus, he baked cupcakes in his free time. We matched. I broke the ice. He was quick to ask me on a date. Bait and zip. Very nice. After a frenzied afternoon of shaving, exfoliating, and spraying, I arrived a cool 4 minutes late. The moment I saw him, I took a mental snapshot just in case this was it. An unfortunate habit stuck firmly in place since 7th grade. His features were elegant and refined, his stature long and markedly lean, the type of person who attracted the eye effortlessly. He was lively and curious, and his nose wrinkled when he laughed. My favorite. With paint smeared and wine guzzled, our masterpieces were complete. It was a brisk, drizzly evening. We bumped against each other every few steps and took turns critiquing each painting, affecting a snobby, highbrow sensibility. His shoulder felt solid despite his wiry appearance. He must work out, I thought. We kissed against a wrought iron fence, bathed in the amber glow of an old street lamp, his tongue gentle and sweet against mine. He pulled away for a moment, cupping my face affectionately. You taste so good. He leaned back in, pressing more passionately than before. His tongue ventured deeper and deeper into my mouth, probing, exploring. Before I knew it, it stroked my uvula. My stomach heaved and a surge of bile rose in my throat. I instinctively tried to push him away, out of the splash zone, but he was tense and did not budge. My nausea was quickly replaced with sheer embarrassment. He apologized endlessly mercy of gravity, hoping those trusty stairs would be there to support